SEC. So since siniskas na nga natin ngayon sa provision ni RMC 87-2024 na basically required na through EAFS ang submission ng attachment to our ITR, ano nga ba si EAFS at paano nga ba ito gamitin? So the EAFS is the electronic portal for submission of duly filed AITR and its attachments. Submissions through the EAFS is just the same as making it in person. So who can use the EAFS? Tax as defined in RMC 49-2020 and as required by RMC 87-2024. Taxpayers who electronically file their AITR shall submit their AITR with attachments through the EAFS. This include taxpayers claiming tax credits, taxpayers not required to have their financial statements audited, and taxpayers who are mixed income earners, among others. Okay? Now, RMC 87-2020 also expands the definition of taxpayers who can use the EAFS to now include not just those using calendar year, but also those who are using fiscal year accounting period. So, pwede na rin nila itong gamitin. It can also now be used in the submission of attachments to your quarterly income tax returns. Actually, not just quarterly ITR, but other quarterly tax returns. Quarterly returns, like for example nga, quarterly VAT, if you're claiming tax credits for those, you can submit your 2307s or 2306 rather, using the EAFS to submit the requirements, the required attachments to your quarterly VAT return. Okay? So how do I access the EAFS? The EAFS can be accessed by clicking the EAFS icon at the BIR website at www.bir.gov.ph. The EAFS may be accessed through any browser of any device with reasonable specifications. It could work for desktops, smartphones, tablets, okay? And as long as the device has access to a browser, since web-based kasi si EAFS, B, a stable enough internet connection, and C, access to the local files to be uploaded, the EAFS can be used. So this is what we term as platform agnostic. So you can use it for using any device. It doesn't work only with PCs since it's web-based. It works for PCs, it works for Macs, it works on iPhones, Android phones, it works with tablets, iPads. Basta merong kang browser, internet, saka nandun yung kaya mong i-access doon yung file na i-upload mo, pwede mong gamitin si EAFS. So paano nga ba gamitin si EAFS? For first-time users, enrollment is required. Enrollment can be made by clicking the not registered, hindi ko na-edit yung square. The not registered, the one on the sa baba niya, by clicking the not registered link at the EAFS login page. It will then bring you to the enrollment page and you are to provide all required information. Naka-asterisk naman yung required information. Now, a few reminders sa pag-enroll sa EAFS. Any TIN or taxpayer identification number can be enrolled as company TIN only once. The EAFS is TIN and email-based. It is TIN and email-based, meaning once a TIN has been enrolled to the EAFS, it can no longer be enrolled again. Okay? Now, however, any TIN can be enrolled multiple times as an authorized tax agent or representative's TIN. So yung taxpayer information, yung TIN niya once lang pwedeng enroll, pero kailangan niya kasi mag-provide kung meron siya. Kung meron siyang authorized tax representative, kailangan niya i-provide din yung TIN ng kanyang tax agent representative. Now, si tax agent representative, yung TIN niya, kahit gaano karaming beses, pwedeng gamitin sa enrollment sa EAFS. Now, the system validates the TIN, so only valid TINs can be used during enrollment. Also, like I said earlier, The EAFS is TIN and email-based, which means any particular email address can only be enrolled once, either as a company email or a representative's email. So, kung ikaw ay authorized representative, kung ikaw accountant or practitioner, you will need to have a unique email address for each and every company na gagawan mo ng EAFS. Plus, isa pa para sa sarili mo kung kasi gagamit ka rin ng EAFS para sa sarili mong submission. The reason why mahigpit sa email is because dito ipapadala ni EAFS yung proof ng iyong submission sa EAFS. So, following data privacy law, para masiguradong hindi siya papasok sa kung kani-kanino, kailangan isang email address lang per taxpayer ang gagamitin, pati sa representative, isang unique email address ang ipoprovide niya para sa each taxpayer na meron, each client na meron siya, to ensure that the proof of submission to the EAFS goes only to the relevant account. Now, kung kayo naman ay hindi mag-engage ng services ng accountant or tax representative, meaning kayo ang magpapasa para sa sarili ninyo, since required i-fill up yung taxpayer information and authorized tax agent information kasi may naka-asterisk dyan, all you have to do is to copy your information into the authorized tax agent representative information. So, ika-copy-paste mo lang siya. Hindi nga kasi pwede. The required spaces cannot be left blank. So, if the taxpayer will be doing their own submission, they can just use the company information as authorized representatives detail. Now, usernames can only be enrolled once. The system will show a prompt if the preferred username has already been enrolled by a different user. Nadedetect ni system kung meron ng ibang username na ganon, so you will have to provide a new username. For password naman, nag-provide kami ng password policy guide para mag-serve as guide ninyo sa kung ano yung allowable na password. After filling up all the information, you are to click submit. After clicking submit, you are to click accept dun sa statement of undertaking. And then you will receive an email with an activation link in the email address that you enrolled. You will need to click on the activation link within 72 hours to activate your account. When you click it, once you have activated your account through the activation link, an activation successful page will acknowledge your activation, and that's it. You can now use the EAFS. So paano ba magpasa ng financial statements and other attachments to the AITR using the EAFS? So to submit files on the EAFS login page, you provide your username and password and click login. Dadaling ka niya sa EAFS homepage. In the left pane, click File Upload. Now, RMC 43-2021 rationalized the file definition in the EAFS. So we have 5 na file types na pwedeng i-upload. Ano yung 5 yon? The ITR, the audited financial statements, isa para sa Form 1709, isa para sa others, and then para naman sa tax credits. So ito yung sample ng required naming convention that you will use. Paano lalabas ito? Okay, now with the rationalization for RMC 43-2021, yung 5 box inallocate na namin ngayon into 7. Yung dating 5, naging 7 na ngayon. Paano siya i-upload? Isang box para sa ITR, isang box para sa audited financial statements or annual financial statements, isang box para sa Form 1709, and 3 para sa tax credit. Tapos isa para sa other attachments. Now, prior to attaching files for submission, you have to select the applicable tax period covered by the submission. So, una, pipiliin mo yung period. So, kung pwede yan quarterly or annually. Okay, this applies for both fiscal year and calendar year. You're then going to select the month end of the period for which you're going to submit. So kung annual calendar year ka, December ang isa-select mo. Kung ikaw ay fiscal year, okay, you can select any month na end ng fiscal year mo other than December. Next is you're going to select the applicable year. Okay? Nang ipapasa mo. Once you have done that, the EFS will show the required naming convention to be used on the files to be uploaded. Now, the files to be uploaded must be in valid PDF format. Hindi Excel, hindi JPEG, hindi Word, hindi PNG, dapat PDF. Yun lang ang tatanggapin ni system, PDF file lang. With the file size not exceeding 4.8 gigabyte per file. Not per upload, but per file. So almost 35 gig worth of files may be uploaded per submission. Kasi 7 boxes yan, di ba? Isang ITR, isang AFS, isang others, 3 tax credit, tapos isang others nga, okay. 1709, sorry, nakunto kayo 1709. So halos 7 lahat yon. Each of those boxes can accommodate a file size of 4.8 gigabytes. For context, 4.8 gigabyte is equivalent to 10,000 pages of PDF. So the system can accommodate per upload, per submission, can accommodate up to 70,000 pages. Pero kung sobrang dami ng inyong ipapasa, pwede naman kayo mag-submit ulit. So hatiin niyo, pasa mo ng una and then pasa ulit ng susunod. But can you imagine, it can accommodate 70,000 pages per upload. Na kung kapusin pa yung 70,000 pages, pwede ka magpasa ulit. Which is why, like I said earlier, hindi nagda-down si EFS unless may issue talaga. Kasi designed siya to accommodate large file sizes. Now, it must follow the required naming convention in the RMCs. To do this, okay, once you have selected the appropriate period, month, and year, kusang lalabas yung naming convention. What you're going to do now is you're just going to copy and paste the naming convention required here to the file that you're going to upload. So, yung file mo ng AFS, yung PDF nun, i-rename mo using the required naming convention bago mo i-upload dito. All you need to do nga is to copy it and use the required naming convention on the file to be uploaded. Once you have uploaded all your files, you must take note that the files will be encrypted and you will not be able to view it after submission to ensure that files are exactly what you want to submit. The files will be encrypted, so once you submit it, hindi mo na yan mabubuksan. Of course, meron ka pa rin namang local file mo, pero hindi mo na ma-verify na yung pinasa mo, yun nga talaga yung local file mo. So double check, triple check. Once you're satisfied that you have attached all the desired files at tama yun na attach mo, click submit. You will then it will then take you to the system of undertaking page. You will have to click accept. Once you do that, this prompt will appear. Once you have successfully uploaded the files, a file upload confirmation page will appear with the transaction code and date and time of submission. Now, habang hindi mo pa natatanggap yung email, you may take a screenshot of this as proof na ikaw nga ay nakapag-submit using the EAFS. Para in case hindi mo matanggap yung email, meron kang katunayan. But that doesn't happen. But just the same, you may take a screenshot of this habang hinihintay yung proof, yung email that will serve as proof ng iyong filing. Now, makakatanggap ka nga ng email. You will also receive an email containing the files that you have uploaded. And it will indicate there whether the files are valid or invalid files. It will also indicate the transaction code and date and time of submission Okay, now this email confirmation shall serve as proof of submission of the files marked as valid, okay, for the files that have been uploaded in the EAFS. Now, in case hindi mo na screenshot to at wala ka natanggap na ganito, you can still search within the system the proof of submission. How? You can go back to the EAFS homepage and in the left pane, click transactions. Dadalhin ka niya ngayon sa transaction summary page and you can sort all your the summary of all the submissions that you've made per upload date, any searchable by typing either the transaction code or the remarks if any. Ipapakita niya ngayon sa iyo kung ano yung mga files na eto ngayon na magsaserve as proof. Kung wala kang email, wala kang screenshot, makikita mo pa rin dito kung talagang pumasok ka sa system ni EAFS yung iyong in-upload. Pag walang lumabas, ibig sabihin hindi ka nakapag-upload. So, kailangan mo mag-upload ulit. But kung wala ka natanggap na email at wala ka na screenshot, dito mo makikita na kung pumasok ba talaga o hindi yung iyong upload. Okay? Now, kung gusto mong, if you want to delve deeper, beside the remarks is the action icon, which you can click and will now list the files that you have uploaded for that particular transaction code. Clicking the action icon will show the summary of the files uploaded for the particular transaction code. Again, you can only see the file names. The files themselves are encrypted and can only be viewed by the BIR. But at least you now have proof, okay, irrefutable proof that you have indeed submitted these files using the EAFS to the BIR. Now, the hard copies of the submissions made using the EAFS are to be kept consistent with relevant issuances and are to be presented and submitted to the BIR upon request. So, yung hard copy na pinasa mo sa EAFS, tago mo na yon. Pag ni-require ka na ng BIR, consistent with relevant issuances, that would then be the only time that you will present them to the BIR. So, kailangan mo pa bang pumunta sa BIR after mag-submit using the EAFS? The answer is no. There's no need to go to the BIR to have the ITR AFS stamped using the EAFS. The email confirmation with the email with the transaction reference number shall suffice as proof of submission. And there's also no need as well to have 2 extra copies submitted to the BIR for SEC purposes. The email shall also serve this purpose. Like I mentioned earlier, only in cases of system unavailability will manual submission of attachments with the AITR be allowed, except in cases of system unavailability, the submission of the attachments here, AITR, shall be made using the EAFS. So that is the last of my slides. Hopefully, na-clarify natin yung mga tanong ninyo. Okay, so mga tanong niyo sa inyong mga isipan, and kung meron pa kayong mga tanong, we'll discuss that in the open forum. But for now, thank you and keep safe.